Hello everyone, welcome to the pre-season race of Tier 2 this season. Unfortunately, we only have 11 drivers on the grid today due to circumstances and a few drivers who are lately not available to attend. But we have Not Rishi BTW joining us from Tier 3 as well, so welcome to him. Lunatic Guy, good for you to be here. Hopefully your mom will not be that mad at you for joining us today. So welcome to you as well. A few new drivers this season on the Tier 2 grid with Sportmat from Tier 3 last season, Razi from Tier 3, Rejet from Tier 3 as well, and so does Quina. Where will they end up? What will their pace be compared to the current of the last season Tier 2 drivers? And Irma Gurkavan has rejoined the session. Really strong Haas team this season. Also really strong Alfa Romeo Tier 3 from last season. So good to see that. What are the tire choices from all the drivers? A few drivers going out on the mediums. They're still in the pits though, but very looking forward to I'm getting a question from Noxlity. What race is this? This is the Tier 2 pre-season race. Next season we will start our official season, but this is just our pre-season race, so just to see if the grids are ordered correctly. With a few new drivers on the grid like Sportman, Quina, Rejet and Razi from Tier 3 will have been promoted. Let's stay in board with TGL Stewart, the first driver to set a lap time. He drove in Tier 2 last season, which was he did a really good job there. So let's see what he can do in this session and this season, of course. Yeah, unfortunately we only have 11 drivers today, but in the next couple of weeks we definitely have some full grids again. That's what we're aiming for in this league. So hopefully the commitment from all the drivers will be there. DGL Stewart puts a 59 in Sector 2. The pole time of Tier 3 was a 17.1. Will this be beaten by the Tier 2 drivers? Look at TGL Stewart. TGL Stewart is attacking those corners really nicely. And what will the first time be? On the boards with a 1:17.2 already. So not a bad banker lap from TGL Stewart. Norishi is 3/10 away. 1:17.5. So Norishi is close as well. He had some practice, of course, before this race. He was looking very quick. And Rejat Jamahakovic is also on a flying lap. And so is Fingerhook. Quina is invalidating his first lap. So let's stay in board with the Red Bull driver Fingerhook. Oh, taking a lot of curb. Fingerhook, who had an amazing season. Unfortunately, he did miss out in the last race, the 17.5 for Fingerhook. But he missed out a lot of races there. And Rejet has invalidated his first lap. So let's see who's the next one to cross the line. I think it's going to be Quina. Yeah, we're going to follow Quina on board. What will his Sector 2 time be? TGL Stewart did a 59. He did a 51 flat. So Quina is really close to the sector time of TGL Stewart based on his lap. Purple sector 2 for Quina. Now he needs to nail that last sector. And Quina is going through that last sector right now. Oh, a big moment there for Quina. But he's still continuing to finish his lap. Where will we end up? Lunatic. A 19-0 for Quina. He backed off at the end. Let's see Rossi. Rossi, I think one of the most improvement drivers from last season, who has been promoted to Tier 2 this season, reserved in a lot of races. Rossi is going to cross the line. Is he going into the 116s? 117.283 and then 1000 quicker than TGL Stewart. What an amazing lap from Rossi, and really great to see that gap between him and TGL Stewart. That's insane to be so close. But Rossi is really extending his form from last season. And Irma is in P6. Gatsby on the medium tire. What can he do in sector 2? 51.3. Not up on his time. And he's still not continuing. And Rejat. Let's see Rejat in the Ferrari. Rejat in the Ferrari does a 51.9. And really outbreaks himself. Oh, Lunatic is having a little moment. And Rejat has another moment. What can Rejat do? Rejat is going to cross the line with a 1:19.5, 2.2 seconds away from the rest of the field. And the top 6 is within 0.5 of a second. Hopefully the other grid can get closer. Look at Furico Toxic on that medium tire compound. What can he do? Furico Toxic was a really quick driver last season. Let's see what can he do on the medium tire. A 1:18 flat on the mediums. A competitive time from him on the mediums. And now Rishi is starting his flying lap. And we've seen that he can be really quick in... He was really quick in Tier 3 as well. Oh, outbreaks himself a little bit. A big moment out of that corner, but he kept it on track and no invalidation for him so far. Not Rishi. What will his sector 2 time be? A 51 flat. He's 1/10 up. So Rishi is improving. And he's only 3/10 away, so he needs to nail that last sector. Short shifting to 4. Now heading back to fourth gear. And into 2, 3. Short shift 3 to 4. I think you can short shift that corner into 3 and 4 to get a good exit speed. Rishi improves himself to P3. Really great lap from the Tier 3 reserve. And Rejat spun. And Lunatic, you're not struggling. You are in P4. Come on, 2.5 tenths. If you're struggling, you can easily gain 0.5 of a second. So I expect a 16 now from you. The grid is really close. Top 5 within 0.3 of a second. Impressive. Gatsby's on his out lap. And Fingerhook improves himself to 19 thousandths of the time of Rossi. Really close in the top 3. Really close. As I've predicted this season, the Tier 2 is going to be so madly close. And you can already see it with 3 drivers within 20 thousandths of a second. Amazing. And Irma Gurkafan, is he improving in the last sector? Irma Gurkafan going to a 179. No improvement for him. And TGL Stewart improves to a 117 flat. A good lap from TGL Stewart. He improves by 0.2 of a second in his second run on this track. Good improvement by the Alpine. And Rossi was up 0.2 of a second in sector 1. Will he be able to manage to get those tenths in sector 2 as well? Let's see his sector 2 time. 2.5 10 up, so that's good for provisional pole. Will he be the first driver to dive into the 60? Oh, Rossi took too much curb. And that's unfortunate. Quina is on the mediums, improving himself. What will his sector 2 time be? A 59, 110 up on his usual time. Running a little bit wide. Oh, a same mistake as Rossi there. Same mistake as Rossi. Lunatic in sector 2 is improving by almost 0.2 of a second. Now he needs to nail that last sector. Lunatic high into the last sector, heading into the final corners. Needs to have a good run out of that corner, and he gets a good run. Now let's see, where will he end up? Picking up the DRS, what will his time be? A 1:9.69, and that's the first driver to dive into the 16s. And he gets provisional pole, so that was an amazing last sector from Lunatic. He is struggling, that's what he said. And no, Lunatic, I'm right about this. You are able to catch yourself into the 16s if you are struggling. And look what you did. Into the 116s you go. So no, you're not struggling anymore. No chance, he said. You definitely have a chance, mate. And that's what you can do. And drivers are diving into the pits. Rico Toxic is still on those medium tires. Will he be able to improve himself into the last sector? Heading onto the main straight for Rico Toxic, a 1:17.5 on the mediums. Good lap from Farico, and Quina onto P8, only 110 away from Farico Toxic as well on the mediums. So impressive qualifying so far from all the drivers. Hopefully Rejet can improve himself. Rejet has invalidated that lap, so he will need to dive into the pits, but he's going for another lap on the same tire, knowing that he's possibly going to start outside the top 10 and trying to go long on his first stint, as he's known about. Rejet is known about that race consistency, about that taking that tire to the maximum. He's really going long into those gears. And he's not improving at the moment. 5 lap old softs. And I think he just wants to get some track practice on those old tires to save the tires for the race. Runs wide again. And Sportman is currently having a 1:18.3. He did his time on the mediums as well, so if he can go for a last soft run, will he put himself into the low 17s? That is an opportunity. Reject going for another lap, of course. Not really focusing on his qualifying. Just want to stick in P10, P11 to start on fresh tires. And look at TGL Stewart, who is improving in Sector 1. And Rejet needs to get away from TGL Stewart, who is struggling in the dirty air. Reject getaway, yes, good. And TGL Stewart is 110 up on his usual lap, so he will be into the 116 as well as it stands. TGL Stewart really pushing that car on the limit. Look at TGL Stewart really taking the maximum of this track. Look at TGL Stewart, where will we end up? Will he have a good last sector to put himself into provisional pole? 116.5! What an amazing lap by TGL Stewart. That was a really good lap from TGL. And Gatsby crossing the line, starting another lap. Rossi has already invalidated his lap. And what can Rishi do? Rishi is 2/10 up in sector 2. What can Rishi do? Rishi into the 116 as well. Into P2. Impressive qualifying from him. As it stands, as a tier 3 reserve. Really looking to have a good go. To challenge TGL Stewart. But that was just an amazing lap from TGL. But Gatsby is also on a flying lap, and you can't count out Gatsby. The Ganja boy, you can't count him out. But Gatsby is known of his race consistency. He is not up in his time. Fingook's pitting, so... And is Rishi going for another lap? I don't think he is, so... This was our qualifying, guys, of today. Not Rishi, impressive qualifying into the 116s. And TGL Stewart is just flying on this track. And TGL Stewart is definitely one of the title contenders next season. Especially with that qualifying, but then at the end, it's not about going on one lap. It's all about the race consistency. And I think not Rishi is someone to look at. I saw his pace in tier 3. Unfortunately, he had some bad luck in the after the start, but his pace after that, after he pitted, was intense. Going for a 19 in the second stint he was running. That's really quick. So this was our qualifying session of today. TGL Stewart taking pole position by 4/10. That's amazing. Not Rishi in second. Lunatic in 3. Fingerhook 4, Gatsby 5, Razi 6, Irma in 7, Farico Toxic on the mediums in 8, Quina on the mediums in 9, Sportmat on the mediums in 10, and Rejat is just using his qualifying to get some race pace. So interesting choice from Rejat to Lunatic. Why do you hate me? Tell me why. Give me one reason. Please wait. What's happening? I'm gonna restart.